If I had one word to describe Brockport, it would probably be sunny.
Caring.
One word to describe Brockport is success.
It's home.
Foundation.
One word, fun. It was a fun time.
Supportive. It was tremendously engaging.
I think defining.
Innovative.
I guess the word that comes to mind is fit, as in Brockport was a great fit for me.
My favorite memories at Brockport really are the friends that we made.
We used to take dates and so on down to the Colonial Inn, which was a local inn here in Brockport.
For me, it was nice. I could be in the classroom and then I could use what we learned actually at work in a working situation. And I was able to take the experiences I was having at work and share it with my other fellow students who were just going to school and actually weren't, actually working in the field.
Probably the most important story at Brockport is that it helped me meet my future wife.
The Student Union building, and going into the Student Union building, down in the basement level, played a bunch of pool down there, and played a bunch of pool down there with my girlfriend, who later became my wife. So that's some very fond memories. I obviously didn't mention the fact that it also was the Rathskeller with 25-cent beers, but that's a whole nother subject.
I am the 2003 Homecoming King.
During orientation in 1961, Dr. Harold Rakoff, who was the Dean of Students at that time, addressed the freshman class in the Strand Theater in downtown Brockport. He said, "Look to your right and look to your left. Only one of you will be here in 4 years." Well, luckily for me, Carolyn Bliss from Castile, New York, and Bill Nelson from Greece, New York, were not sitting on either side of me. One became my wife of 47 years, with whom we have 4 wonderful children and 3 adorable grandchildren. The other became my roommate, teammate, and still a best friend after 50 years.
I think just freshman orientation was one of my favorite memories. I met some great folks in my residence hall that are still to this day some of my best friends. And so, John and Jeff and Sean still stay in touch and still share kids' pictures and things like that. And so, even your first week at school, it makes a lasting impression for the rest of your life.
It was very hard to just pick one, but I guess what I'll say is living on campus in Benedict Hall.
At our orientation of freshmen, he said to all of us very charmingly that he was so excited to be our new president, and that if we ever had any problems that we should come and see him. So I walked into the secretary's office. She wasn't there. The president's door was a little bit ajar, so I knocked on the door, and he said, "Come in." And I opened the door, and I'm standing there with my beanie and my sign, and I said, "Hi, I'm Nancy. Do you remember when you told us to come and see you if we ever had a problem?" He had a rather bewildered and horrified look on his face. I think he probably thought that there'd be another 1,000 just like me right behind me.
Memories with my roommates, memories working at the library, working with the children at daycare, the 10th story view of Briggs Hall.
It would be right, usually during finals week, and all of a sudden the bells would go off in the morning and everybody just knew classes were canceled for the day and we could go out and party. It was always a nice, beautiful day in spring.
I made friends for life with so many people and had some of the best times of my life here at Brockport.
Dr. Rockhill and Dr. Chen were great instructors.
Dr. Nakano, she was my first math teacher when I came to Brockport as a freshman.
William H. Zimmerly, who was a faculty member at the Department of Health Education, he was the one who helped me begin to think about what a future would be in health education and ultimately in public health.
Small and very committed field of people. The people in the field of visual impairment are really
energetic, enthusiastic, very supportive, and I really like working with the whole field of visual impairment. And so I do work with other populations. I do help with programs with people in wheelchairs and programs for kids with autism, but my passion and my commitment has always been to kids with visual impairment. And I feel like that's kind of what I was meant to do in my life. I know this is what I was meant to do. So this is what I'm doing, and I feel every day I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Mrs. Wyrick and Dr. Rogers, who meant an awful lot to me.
Professor Eric Dusing, but he had a very big impact on me. In one, sort of being a mentor for me during that year, and two, recommending that I consider going on to grad school.
The professors in both the business department and the computer science department were great. That they really stretched you, they made you learn how to think, they helped you think, they helped you get things done, they really cared. So I can't really pick one professor out, but I think that they always helped promote diversity, and they helped promote independent thinking.
I would like to thank my wife, because she was a girlfriend of mine through the first 3 years of college, and we got married. We got married when I was a senior in college, and she continued to be encouraging. From there on, also, she was encouraging when I went to graduate school at Brockport. And also the faculty and staff here at Brockport was just wonderful during the 4 years I was here.
Well, I really like to thank two people from my family. One is my mother, who really was the one who, if anyone, pushed me to go to school, even though neither of my parents had real experience with school. And my wife Barbara, who has been by my side since 1973, helping to raise our family while I continued to go to school and work in a number of different places. She was always the rock.
I'd have to thank three people for this award. My father, who passed away several years ago, but did everything he could possibly do to work hard and put his children through college, as he did for me. My mom, who has always been there and is still there today for all of us. And my wife, who actually was in Brockport as a student with me up until the time we decided to get married, and I went on to grad school, and she left school to work throughout the years that I went to grad school.
I would like to first, I want to thank God, and really just for knowing that this was the right place for me to be. This, even though there were other places that I wanted to go, for school, but I just thank God that knowing that, in His perfect will, this was the right place for me to be. My parents, my mother's a school teacher, so I didn't have the luxury of a lot of excuses for not doing well academically. And so I want to thank them. I want to thank my dad. He was the one that taught me how to be a man.
It's Dr. Ishida. He was in the psychology department. That was my original, my undergraduate degree was in psychology. And it was his grading policy, which was if you did better as the semester progressed, you got the better grade. So it encouraged you to improve throughout the semester. And plus, he was a very good storyteller. And then Jeanette DiAgostino, she was my supervising teacher when I student taught. And she was very encouraging then, and she's remained encouraging throughout me being here.
And I thank the entire English department, obviously, because they taught me not only about literature, but they also taught me how to write. And I really think that in the progression of jobs that I've had over the years, that it's been my writing ability that has propelled me forward. I always smile when people say nobody should major in English because it doesn't lead to a really good job. I think, really? Because after I graduated, I held a number of jobs. I was after I got my PhD, an editor for a little while. I also was a jobs analyst for an international company. And then, of course, did everything in terms of consulting and doing reports. Really, the writing was what propelled me forward.
Definitely my parents, I mean, certainly for their support. And my college roommates, too. They probably provided more support than they realize. You know, college can be a tough time, a time of a lot of transition and change, and I'm proud to call them dear friends still today.
I'd like to thank my husband first, who has been always supportive of my career and professional goals, as well as my academic goals. My girlfriends, who are here tonight because of their continued friendship and our involvement with each other through the years. My mother, who has since passed, but who is responsible for making sure I got up there every fall and got home every end of the semester. And my two brothers, my younger brother, who ended up following in my footsteps and went to Brockport, and my twin brother, who is now an ophthalmologist. To be able to come back to Brockport to receive this award just means an awful lot to me, because it's full circle, and it's all the great things that I remember about Brockport are part of this experience.
And when I graduated from Brockport, I really felt that I was ready to start my career. I felt I had the skills that were going to help me, and these skills helped me to be very successful in my career and in life.
You know, being there, being with friends, being in a faculty environment, being in a campus environment that was rich enough to be a college town, but not overwhelming to the degree that I felt like I was out of place, or I couldn't have the capabilities to make the relationships with students, faculty, staff that I wanted to.
Brockport education gave was that ability to be with a lot of different kinds of people and learn to appreciate the differences in all of us.
One of the things I got from Brockport, a sense of caring, a sense of giving back, and a sense that a single failure is not the end.
But it wasn't until I got on campus, I got involved with the different organizations, that I really saw that Brockport is a great place to be.
I think there's people, there's professors, there's just every aspect of Brockport supports you if you're open to that support.
The college is a community, the faculty is a community. People are really interested in only one thing, and that's student success in a small town environment.
There's so many beautiful moments that come to mind when I think about Brockport.